Hi guys, here we have the rankings part 5. Now, if you still remember what I'm doing, I'm ranking all of my comic books from my least favorite to my favorites. And right now we're starting with number 29, which is the New 52 Red Lanterns Volume 1 Blood and Rage. Now, the Red Lanterns are the Lanterns of Rage, and are actually one of my favorite Lantern Corps in the DC Universe. Obviously, the Green Lanterns are my favorite. Then it's got to be the Black Lanterns. But Red Lanterns are a very interesting corps to be reading about. Plus, we see how one of the greatest foes of the Guardians of the Universe have spent their time in their own world and with their own corps, which is always interesting to see. Plus, it also gives us a little glimpse into how Atrocitus, who was the leader of the Red Lanterns, of how he treats his followers and those beneath him. Number 28, Deadpool Back in Black. Now, this one basically sets up a very popular theory that Deadpool had the Venom symbiote before Eddie Brock. Not only that, it also shows what actions he committed whilst connected to the symbiote. We see the return of a few fan favourites, being, obviously we see Spider-Man in there. We see Kraven the Hunter, Black Cat, the Collector as well. But the theory that Deadpool gained the Venom symbiote before Eddie Brock was very interesting, and very interesting to read about as well. As expected, since it's a Deadpool storyline, we have the same typical artwork, which is always fun to see. But that's probably one of my favourite Deadpool comics. Alright, number 27, DC Universe Rebirth, Flash, Volume 2, Speed of Darkness. Now this one was quite gothic, but very interesting to read, as we see the return of the supervillain Shade, along with Tar Pit as well. Even though we see how Wally is handling being Kid Flash now, and also how he's doing as the partner to Barry Allen's Flash. It's overall great to read about how you see how one Flash has handled two Kid Flashes. I'm not even sure that's how to say it, but it's worth the read. Number 26, Punisher, War Machine. Now, I'm a very big fan of the Punisher. I absolutely love him. I think he's a complete badass. And it was so cool seeing Punisher in a War Machine suit. It's almost like seeing Spider-Man merged with Captain America. Now, I'm just picturing that, and that just looks awesome. The artwork is sophisticated and bloody, and it leaves nothing to the imagination of how graphic some of Frank Castle's kills are. It just gives you what you'd expect from a Punisher storyline. It really, really gives the fans what it is they would want from seeing Frank Castle on the pages. Number 25. New 52 Aquaman, Volume 1, The Trench. The Aquaman movie was a critically acclaimed success and did very well at the box office, which mostly was helped to good acting choices and sticking to good source material, as there is supposed to be a Trench spin-off movie coming soon. Now with The Trench, since it's a hive of aquatic monsters, some of that did come from here. It is very cool to see Aquaman in his own kind of storyline, not just as the joke of the Justice League. But I am a big Aquaman fan, and something tells me that all the jokes of how Aquaman is terrible are long gone. Especially now that we have Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Number 24. Black Panther, Avengers of the New World. This one was so gut-wrenching that it even ended up leaving way for a sequel, or for the storyline to be carried on. Now, if you're a Black Panther fan, I very much recommend picking this one up, and A Nation Under Our Feet as well. I recommend both of them equally, but I do have to say, I enjoyed reading this one more, as it did actually lead up to similar events in A Nation Under Our Feet, and we see several iconic characters, as well as Black Panther. We even see the X-Men Storm, since the two of them are an item. But it definitely satisfies any Black Panther fan. Number 23. DC Universe Rebirth, Titans, Volume 1, Return of Wally West. Like I probably said in one of my other videos, don't bother watching the Titans series because it is really crap. But go ahead and read the comics. Especially the DC Rebirth storylines. Like the Return of Wally West shows him coming out of the Speed Force in a world where not everyone remembers him. It takes physical connection for him, it takes physical contact for them to recognize him, as it gives them a certain jolt that gives their memories a chance to remember who Wally is. But I have to say, it's definitely good to see that there's enough Titans action in here to give any fan of the Teen Titans cartoon series, or someone who's been a fan of theirs ever since their original comic books, there's definitely enough action in here to satisfy all of your needs for the Titans. Number 22. DC Universe Rebirth, Justice League, Volume 1, The Extinction Machines. Now, the Justice League have always been one of DC's most popular names, but the movie in 2017 actually wasn't so amazing. It was actually better than Suicide Squad, but it didn't live up to its full potential. But in overall, I think this would have actually been a pretty good storyline to go by, if they had chosen a way around it instead. But seeing the Justice League work with a different Superman was actually interesting to see how they would work with someone who wears the face of one of their greatest friends. But while we don't see an iconic villain such as Darkseid or Brainiac or Despero, we do see them go up against not one, but 4 incredibly powerful beings that have threatened the Earth. If you read it, you might just see how it turns out. Number 21. Superior Iron Man, Infamous. Now this one basically gives Tony an ego boost that he never needed. It's a dangerous thing to give him one of them. But we do see him working on new ways of technology, being his new superior armor, was actually made with a symbiote as well. Which I think is actually a pretty cool idea. But we do see fan favourites such as Matt Murdock or Daredevil. But we also see a fairly new character in the form of Teen Abomination. I'm not even kidding. But this one basically sets up Tony's more maniacal side, the side that no one wanted to see in the MCU, as it would just give you the incentive that Tony is a raging douche. Number 20. New 52, Batgirl, Volume 1, The Darkest Reflection. Now, Batgirl has had a lot of success in the DC Universe, and has definitely had her fair share of tough spots. This one actually gives you a look into how she's handling things after being Oracle. How she's dealing with being a solo hero, much like Nightwing. But also, it gives us a very intuitive villain as well, in the shape of Mirror, who's quite mysterious and quite an incredibly dangerous threat for her. Well guys, that's it for today, but be sure to like and subscribe and comment what you think down below. And I'll be back tomorrow with more of my rankings. See you guys.